In this video, I'm going to show you how I change one of my strings. So, first you need to get your string and make sure that you have the right one for which string you are changing. I'm going to change my A string, so check on the envelope. If you have them in separate envelopes, make sure you have the A string, or if you have a bunch of strings in one envelope, use the little color code that they'll have at the bottom of the front of the envelope to make sure you're getting the color that matches the string you want to change. Some other things that I'm going to use are this Hill peg compound and a regular pencil. And these are optional. These are things that you might want to use to help your pegs slide more smoothly. And I use them every time. So find the peg of the string you're changing. I'm changing the A string, so I'm going to take my A string peg and I'm going to take it off until I can pull the string out. Also going to put this on the table and finish that job. So I recommend just doing the whole thing on the table if you can. I'm trying to show some things, but that just pulls right out. And then at the base, you're going to take it off from here. And this one's kind of wedged in there. So voila. So the next thing I'm going to do is throw my pencil on the floor. That's the next thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to use the pencil just as a source of graphite to help things move more smoothly. So I'm going to just put a little bit of graphite here at the spot where the string rubs on the bridge. And this is completely optional. And at the nut here where the string rubs on the nut. So I'm just adding that so that there's less friction there. And then I'm going to take the peg out, and I'm going to put some of my peg compound on there. So this just looks like brown kind of putty or glue stick or something. And I'm just putting it around the peg on the places where the peg is rubbing to get it to be smoother. Then that goes right back into the hole from whence it came. And you're going to be looking in your peg box to find the little hole in the peg. So I'll take that out so you can see the little hole in the peg, which I'll show you with this discarded string what we use that for. And you want to make sure that you can thread the string through the peg. And I can't do it because I'm not wearing the best glasses. Right? I'm wearing my contacts right now. They're new ones. I'm trying them out. I'm sure you needed to know all of this. But you can see there's a hole here in the peg. And you're going to, when the peg is in the peg box, you're going to put the string through the peg, and then you'll be winding it like that in the peg box. So that's just a demonstration outside so that you can see better what is going to happen. So I'm putting this back into the scroll, and I'm going to take out my new string. Yay, new string day. And what they tell you to do is to put this part in first and then wind it through the peg. But every time I do that, I put that in and then I start winding this and it pops out. So now, because of that, I usually start at the peg end. So just so you know, Nobody told me that I should do this. Everybody says do it the other way. And this is my most rebellious you'll ever see me. I hope not. But okay, I'm gonna need more light with my contacts. I guess I'm gonna tell the eye doctor these contacts are not good. Okay, I've put this string into the peg, threaded it into that hole. That can be a hard step. So use light if you need, be patient, and I'm picking this up off the table, but don't do that. That's just so that you can see what I'm doing. I like to push it in a little bit farther than just barely in, because I can always pull it out a little bit later if I need, but if I needed to push it in farther, that's much harder. And the reason that it matters is that when you're tuning, you want the peg to be at a good angle where you can push it while you're playing. And if it's just flat like this, that's really hard to get and get any pressure on it. So we really want to try to get the peg to go like that, kind of perpendicular to the fingerboard. And in order to do that, we need maybe a little bit extra in there because we don't know how much you're going to need to turn it at this point. So that's why I'm pushing it a little bit farther in so that I'll have some spare string on the other side. All right, now with this on, don't turn it like this, turning it for you to see, you're going to start turning the peg and just gently keeping it in place. And when I feel that I'm getting to the end of this winding here, now I know it's on the peg, so I'm going to take this part down here now and place this ball in the part of the tailpiece that it fits in and then slide it to the narrow part. And then I usually reach underneath the tailpiece to make sure that that is in place. So, really not happy with these contact lenses, I can tell you. Okay, so get it to the narrow part of that. As you can see, this is not just like super easy electronic slide the little thingy in and it magnetizes and pops in. This is really old school. So I've put it in there in the wide part, and then I slid it up into the narrow part, and I made sure that the ball is all the way pulled through. So that, because there's going to be a lot of tension on this string, so make sure that it's really wedged in this way and pulled all the way to the end. Don't force it and don't be too rough, but just so you know, it's not like, it might be challenging. All right, then I'm going to go back to the peg and I'm holding this. So I'm holding the string like this so that there's some tension while I wind it. And you want to wind it neatly. So I'll show you once I'm done doing this string what my D string looks like, because it's pink and you can see it easily. But you're going to wind this up until it starts to get down to the fingerboard. And then, as it starts to build tension, check to make sure that you're in the notch at the nut and that you're in the notch at the bridge. If both of those are in, then you can continue winding your peg until you get your string tuned. So you need some source of an A. I'll use my trusty metronome. And I'm going to turn that while I'm plucking it. Okay, and that's exactly how I do it. I face this away from myself. I rest it on something and I turn it while I'm plucking it, because if the string breaks, I don't want it to be facing me. I'm a scaredy cat. So I turn it away from myself, and then that way when I'm tuning it up, and as you heard, it already went down again in pitch, and that is normal because the string is still stretching. So then the next thing I do is I check my bridge and I see if it has scooched up a little bit, and then I might carefully have to just very, very carefully adjust that a tiny bit. All right, and then I promised I was going to show you my pink D string here. How did people get that to focus there? So if you can see my D string, how it's wound nicely, so that it's not really crisscrossing. It's just all wound nicely in a row. And that's how I change my A string. So after that, I would wait probably 2 or 3 days, and then I would change my D string. And then I would wait a couple days and change the G, and then after a couple more days, change the E. Because when you change your string, all of this stuff has to have some time to adjust, and we don't want to shock it or make anything fall down. And that is your demonstration of changing the string. I hope that it works for you.